Welcome to part 3 of the video series on Parachains. In today's video, Paradox will explore Parachain bidding. Such an interesting topic. Now, over to you, Paradox.
Hi everyone, welcome back to this 3-part series on Parachains. So let's take a recap. Crowd loans are a means by which a project can fund its bid for a Parachain slot. It is managed by a module within the system appropriately named a crowd loan module. Projects will seek to attract potential investors by rewarding them with native tokens. So, on to part 3, bidding. So, how does a project obtain a Parachain slot? Well, it can do so in 2 ways. 1, if the project is recognized as serving a common good or provides some system utility. In this case, currency holders would be able to vote on this via the governance process. And 2, the project bids for a Parachain slot. Under these circumstances, the project can self-fund its bid, or it can reach out to the community via crowd loan. So let's look at bidding. Bids are made by project owners. So you as a currency holder, you support the crowd loan, and in turn that does the guides the bidding. All bids are open and values are seen by everyone. A bid comprises of 2 parts: the length, which is referred to as the range or period, and a currency value for each period. Auctions may take place every 2 weeks, and each auction has 2 phases, an initial phase and a closing phase. Bids are done using a candle approach. With this approach, the initial phase runs from start to end as normal. The closing phase, however, runs from start to end, but there's a random point that is generated after which all bids are deemed void. This prevents last-minute bids and promotes genuine bids throughout the auction process. So let's take a look. We have the table to the top, and there are 4 projects, A, B, C, and D. And there are 4 lease periods, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So we have project A bidding for lease periods 1, 2, 3, 4 at a rate of 70 KSM per lease period. We have B at 100 KSM, and B would like slots 2 and 3. C would like slots 1 and 2 at 80 KSM each, and D would like slots 3 and 4 at 120 KSM each. So if we look at the table below, we multiply out the numbers, and even though project A has the individually highest bid, the system will say that we should take projects C and D, because when we add those up, we get the same span 1, 2, 3, 4, but we get 400 KSM. So the winners would be C and D. So let's take a look at this scenario. If it is that, we have A, B, and C doing bids within the initial period. And A, however, when the closing period starts, A decides that it wants to up its ante, and it goes to 70 KSM for 1, 2, 3, and 4. So it increases its bid by 20 KSM. However, in this hypothetical, we don't know when the end is going to occur, but let us assume it's before D bids. So if that marker is the cutoff period, then if we re-evaluate based on our previous slide, then D won't be in the equation, so we can scratch it off. And under these circumstances, the winner would be A. So that red line that I drew, you don't know where that red line will end up. It can actually end up before A bids, which means that we will only be evaluating based on the bids by A, B, and C in the initial phase, in this case. So that red line, no one knows where that red line is going to be drawn. And that is the beauty of the approach. So that was quick, simple. That's the bidding process. So there are offline options. I have seen that Kraken is now advertising, and I don't know too much about it. But this slide, if you can, pause it and take a look at it, it has a good workflow, so you can have a fair appreciation of the system. And it's quite similar to what I discussed in the crowd loan video. So it's not too different, but it'll be interesting to see which projects that an exchange would support, or would they be supporting all. Quite interesting. Okay, so let's wrap it up. Parachain slots can be obtained by governance vote in which there's no token requirement. Well, that's not too exact. There is token requirement, but you can have very low lockout periods. For this to occur, the project has to provide some common good or system utility. Currency holders contribute by vote. So if you're familiar with the voting process, you have an idea of how your currency can be used to weigh in on that vote. Parachain slots can also be obtained by bidding. This can be self-funded or crowd-funded. With crowdfunding, currency holders contribute via their funds. Auctions would be held every 2 weeks and is done using a candle approach in which the cutoff for bids isn't known. Remember that red line. There are off-chain options for those seeking to participate in crowd loans. So, if you want to keep your funds on an exchange, you can still participate. Okay, so that's it. We are at the end of part 3. I thank you for viewing, and I would like to send a special thanks to JJB, and I thank everyone for viewing. Take care. Goodbye.
Well, that concludes our 3-part series on Parachains. We really hope you found this video series helpful, and you now have a better understanding of Parachains. Before we wrap up, I'd like to thank Paradox. He has put quite a lot of time and effort into researching and developing this video series, and it is much appreciated by the community. Thank you for watching, and bye for now.